Welcome to Inventor's Dojo. My name is Henry and I'm an inventor. First of all, I would like to welcome and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Since this is the first video in this channel, I would like to take some time to introduce what the channel is about and just a little bit about myself. But first, let's talk about some disclaimers that I feel are important, so let's get those out of the way. Number one, I am not a product designer of any kind, not by education, by profession, or even in my imagination. Number two, I am not qualified to give you patent legal advice or any kind of legal advice. Number three, I am not an expert at any of the things that I do here. My only talent is doing things the wrong way time and time again until I get it right. And now that those are out of the way, let's talk about what this channel is about. I am the inventor of Quick Jacks, and in this channel I will be detailing every step that I've taken with my invention from the time it was an idea in my head up until where it is today. I've done all of this with minimal financial resources, figuring things out as I go and doing most of the things myself. That means that I've had to figure out how to get patent drawings, logos, 3D design, 3D printing, machining, resin casting, mold making, crowdfunding, woodworking, yeah, even that, and a bunch of other things that make me wonder how I still have all of my fingers. I am even trying my hand at this YouTube thing simply because I do not want to leave any stone unturned. Even naming my products has been a challenge and a half because I just don't have the experience in any of these things. Doing all these things is normal, living in this fascinating do-it-yourself world that we're living in. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build success with my product on a very low budget while still supporting my family by working an average of 50 hours a week on top of everything else that I have to do. In this channel, I will tell you everything that I've gone through. The sacrifices, the rewards, the failures, the successes, peaks, valleys, and everything in between. Even the times companies or individuals have tried to take advantage of me. Everything I would or wouldn't do again. However, one of my goals here is that somewhere in one of these videos, someone will find the help or the inspiration to create their own product and get on their own journey. Even if the inspiration comes from saying, hey, if this guy can do it, I can do it too, that works for me. But wait, there's more. I have never, ever seen any kind of commercial success with any of my inventions. So I understand that there's a fair to good chance that I'm just nuts and my inventions are just ridiculous. But for all purposes, I'm still in the trenches. In fact, these videos are just something else that I'm trying, hoping that I can find that little piece of information that I couldn't come up with on my own. So you will be watching the story unfold as it happens. Will I succeed? Will I fail? How long will it take me? Subscribe and let's find out together. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to share and learn from you. Please take the time to subscribe and share this video with someone you feel might enjoy it. Don't forget to wish me good luck in the comments. Now, let's get to it. Click on the link to watch the next video and let's do this.